search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County.
And I got to play with your wand. It was great.
Definitely fun.
Keep going.
All right. Welcome to the new episode of Footage Foreplay. And yeah, we are joined by a special guest. It is like morning where you are, right? What time is it over there?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. You having your marmalade and toast. That's great. We are here with Uwe Boll. Did I get your name right?
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
Period. Slay. Welcome to this crazy podcast that is Footage Foreplay. I'm Terrell, and you were just talking to Evan. That's Evan. And then Russell, say hi.
Hi.
Thanks so much. Also,
thanks for
poster you have in the background.
Oh yeah, all the horror stuff. Are you a big horror fan?
Russell, he has House of the Dead hanging.
Oh
there.
yeah, he does.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
have to have that. We're gonna get into it, but before, tell us how you doing. Where you located, by the way?
Well, I'm in Germany. We were a long time in Vancouver,
Mhm.
but in 2020 we went back to Germany. Now from here I have to escape somewhere else.
Oh, you're like, how is it in Germany?
No, the thing is, I think wherever you are right now, it's good and bad.
Yeah,
Of course, Vancouver was very nice in regards of you have that ocean, you have the mountains, you have it all, but you didn't have a lot of culture. And in
Gotcha.
Europe, you have a lot of culture and you have a lot of things that are very close together. That is what I like here, that you can drive 2 hours. I'm in France. It's very close together, everything. And I like the food in Europe, like that you get so much different food and stuff like this, And my kids had to go to school when we moved, and school is free, university is free, It's not that healthcare is free. That's a myth. Like the people when I always say, "Oh, in Europe the healthcare is free." No. You pay for the healthcare. It's similar to Obamacare. You have to pay money for it.
Yeah.
And it's not free. Free is it only for people they have no money. Then they have free healthcare, right? If you're like homeless or whatever, and they pick you up, you're not getting
Sure.
a call when they reanimate you or something. But but in Vancouver, it was really like the last few years, the fentanyl crisis, similar to San Francisco and so on. It got
that's where they are.
yeah, and we had a
Yeah.
restaurant. We had a German restaurant, and it was really in the bad part of the city, and it got like undoable. When you had like my wife had a dead guy on a car roof one day.
Oh,
Wait.
shit.
Yeah,
He
stuff
died
like,
on her roof of her car?
yeah, like they threw him
What?
out the window. Like there was like above the restaurant. And on that road were a lot of like homeless housing too and whatever. So they threw the guy out of the window on her car. And then the
Aw.
police, they took him off and there was blood everywhere. And the police only said like, okay, drive through the wash by.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
That's crazy. So someone threw him out the window to kill him, or did he commit suicidal?
no, I think they threw him out because.
Oh wow.
And but look, San Francisco was a lot of times. I loved San Francisco. I
Mhm.
loved it, and I still would love it. But the last time we were there, it was similar. Where you had just too many parts of the town. You had the tents, you had the people. Like that's the problem, And I think the fentanyl made it way worse as the classical drugs. Because people overdose faster. It's like they don't know what they take. They throw a pill in, and it could be rat poisoning or a total overdose. You have no feeling for what you're taking. And in Vancouver, they all had this Narcotan shots. They had they gave it out for free so that your body could hammer it into you when you were done. So, and I feel like that's the way, like. How both sides acting, like a Trump who says like, oh, whatever, we have to remove them from the streets, and but they're not disappearing if you just remove them from the streets,
Right.
But the other side, who just want to give out free drugs and think that's the solution, is also bullshit. Because the free drugs, they tried in Vancouver. And so the people take first the free drugs and still the fentanyl. Additional. They're not like, okay, now I get here this clean, free drug. But it doesn't give me the real kicker. So, and then they keep going. And that's the thing. I mean, it's a crazy situation, and we don't know what. But it didn't get better in Vancouver. I was this year there, and now you have the homeless and everybody all over the city. Not anymore in a few parts of downtown. You have it everywhere. Naja.
Okay.
Not in Germany.
I was wondering.
No, in Germany it's still better, but you have in Berlin, in the big cities, you have that already also. Not in this amount, not in this amount, but of people. But in the more middle range cities, like the city I am, it's by Frankfurt. I'm like 25 kilometers away from Frankfurt. We're still okay, So I mean, at least not in this kind of amounts what we had in San Francisco, what we have in LA or Vancouver. So, but who knows? Who knows? But I think one of the reasons in Europe is not so bad so far is because here are still the Colombian drug cartel ruling and not the Chinese. No, it's so hard. It sounds. There's where Trump is right? That comes from China, the fentanyl.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like where, and here the Chinese couldn't get a foothold because he is like the Italian mafia and the Colombians. So, and they still want to sell the more expensive drugs, heroin, cocaine, So, that's a real subject matter for a lot of talk, But it's, but we will see. We will see how this all plays out. I hope we can reduce it and contain it more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hell of a way to fight a proxy war. Get a population addicted to a drug that just kills you. Yeah, it's brutal.
Rat poison.
It's funny. I actually worked with a dude who had a similar story where he was working for a company that had to. Do you remember when we had that initiative and we had a bunch of hotels that we tried to move everybody off the street into out here in the Bay Area? And one of my buddies was doing extermination. So he would go in there and try and fix their bug problem. So he would be a dude walking in alone in a hazmat suit to a kind of like flop house of people who were very high. And they would always try and be violent with him. And they're just like, oh, you're the cops. And he's like, dude, I'm here because you have a rat problem. And a dude jumped out a window and landed on his van.
Did he die?
Yeah. And he also was doing body removal too.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Dude. It's wild time.
This is a morbid start to this episode. All right.
It's oddly fitting though.
I don't know. It's weird because we don't have that. Like I'm in rural Mississippi for context, Uwe, and
he lives in a shed.
Not really. I do.
He's trying to make it sound nice.
Fentanyl's not really a super popular. It's more like meth and stuff like that. The cheaper, like just common street drugs, but. It's crazy to hear that fentanyl's such an issue in like the cities and stuff, and just hear stories of how just being there, you guys all have had encounters with it,
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Russell. It is appropriate because I feel like in all of Uwe's movies, you've never been afraid to tackle a sensitive topic head on or tackle something that's highly divisive head on. So. What kind of draws you to those sorts of topics? Because even from like your early films with Amoklauf and some of those, you were already tackling, in Heart of America, you were already tackling pretty topical and sensitive things, and you're never kind of afraid of the backlash. So what drew you to that?
I think. First of all, also the movies I grew up with, it was, I think, a very good time in a way. The 80s and 90s were the best, film years. You had more gritty films, the times of like whatever Apocalypse Now, The Deer Hunter, French Connection, like the early Scorsese stuff, Oliver Stone, JFK, all that movies really made an impact on me. together with, I was always kind of political interested in what's going on. At that time, I was reading a lot. And I think that's the thing where, no, my dog's coming around me. and I feel as a filmmaker, I have nothing against a good genre movie, right? To be entertained, because the whole horror wave came when I was 15 years old. And so Friday the 13th, Halloween, the George R. Romero. I remember where we watched Dawn of the Dead from Romero on a Super 8 projector. At that point, you could rent at the video store also Super 8 reels still. That was very early on, where the VHS started, and then you had also Super 8, and we had a projector. I was like freaking out. And so, but that was this time. So that's the reason I don't have a problem with violence, for example. You know, like some people say, why you do that so hard in Rampage or whatever, you know, like very bloody stuff too. And I said, no, I want that the violence looks realistic. And, you know, it's like, that was the reason I liked Scorsese or something. He was also violent, you know, like, so I think the real good directors of genre, even if it's mafia films or whatever, there was always this violent note to it. And and I feel, as a filmmaker, you should make films. They disturb in a way, or you know, force the audience to face problems when they happen, and not like 30, 40 years later or 20 years later. That is why I did Assault on Wall Street, basically, right where the financial crisis happened. You know, like, so not like 10 years later, people lost their houses, 6,000 people did suicide. And the bankers got richer, you know, and I felt like, okay, why not having a guy who's losing it all, and then he kills the bankers? And, you know, and that's the thing when you remember when that guy killed the healthcare guy now?
Yeah. Luigi, I wonder if he's seen that movie.
Yeah, but that's what basically Dominic Purcell did in Assault on Wall Street, right? So he like, oh, they fuck you over, now I go and kill him. And I wanted to scare with the film the bankers too, like that they don't, if they're not fear the law because they have so much money, they're kind of above the law. Maybe they should fear the people they disappoint, or fear the people they feel fucked from them, you know. And I feel this kind of that's another level of films where you need to where I try to react to reality. The Darfur film with the massacres in Sudan and so on, and put it in front of the audience, and they should like think about it themselves, you know, like, oh fuck yeah, you know, like the Darfur film is so brutal, and then you have so many people like they told me like, oh my god, that got me on the wrong foot, right? And I said, yeah, but that's the thing, you know, when everybody now talks about genocide in Ukraine, I mean, in Ukraine, it's not a genocide. There's a war, right? So, but Darfur, 350,000 women, kids, older people, helpless people got cut into pieces, like with machetes and everything. You know, that was a genocide. And that's the thing, you know, like, or at least an attempt for this. And, you know, that's the thing. And I feel a lot of films now, they're coming across like critical, or, you know, and they acting because they're getting all the studio support, but they are overall very harmless. Like, you know, like where you think like, okay, what's now Conclave? you know, about like the Pope is dead. Now we're voting for another Pope. I mean, who gives a fuck? You know, I mean, I don't think that's the biggest issue or political incorrect film or something. That film got really good reviews based on that subject matter. You know, for me, the whole subject matter is laughable. Like the whole, like they're running around like in their robes since hundreds and hundreds of years. I think it's completely stupid. The whole Pope, Conclave, Vatican bullshit. You know, so that's the thing. It's like I could do that only as a comedy. How fucking retarded this guy's.
I haven't seen that movie, but didn't they win awards or something?
I haven't either.
I ain't watched that shit.
What?
The movie Conclave. There's a movie, right?
Yeah, he said Terrell said he ain't watching that shit.
It's not on the watch list. Period.
No.
Okay.
And that had 10 Oscar nominations this year. 10.
Yes, it did. Yep.
But,
It sure did. So what got you into making movies?
what makes a good movie?
Like, what got you into like wanting to make movies?
Also,
Yeah, your start.
basically movies, right? So I'm coming from little town. There was one movie theater, and my parents early on already, when I was 6 or 7, they just let me go to the movies by myself.
Young.
It was in walking distance, right? And there was, I said, look, it's only $2 to go there. And so I watched really a lot of like classics there, Quo Vadis, Ben-Hur, whatever, like this kind of big Hollywood movies, Western, El Dorado, John Wayne stuff. And I was totally fascinated by it. And I said, I want to make movies too. But my father was a chemist. You know, they have no connection to the film industry. We also had not really money. And so they thought, okay, whatever, he will talk, but never do it, you know. And then in school, there was another guy, Frank Lustig, who also wanted to make movies. So, and we together started making short movies, Super 8mm and later 16mm stuff. And I think if Frank wouldn't existed, maybe it wouldn't happen, because when you're together, you don't give up, right? So you feel like, okay, let's organize this and let's do this. And we did my first real movie was German Fried movie, like Kentucky Fried movie, you know, the comedy. And we really pulled that off, like 8 months. We shot a scene, then we didn't shot the scene a week later. And so it was like a compilation comedy. So we didn't needed all that actors for the whole time and made jokes about TV shows, politics, everything, advertising. And that movie, nobody bought the movie. And then we released it in movie theaters on our own. And it had audience. So people went and watched it because it was so trashy that it was funny. And then the UFA, a bigger German company, they bought the DVD rights, the home video rights to it. And they said to us, so, okay, what do you want to do next? And then I told them, like, okay, I want to do a political thriller about Barschel. That was a guy who was a prime minister in a state. It would be like Gary Newsom in like one state in Germany. And they found him dead in a hotel room. And he had an overdoses of drugs in him. But there was a lot of things that were leading to murder, that it was not suicide. Right. And so we did the film. The UFA gave us $150,000 for it, 150. At that point, it was okay to make a small movie. But that was basically a second film. And it was not a success at all. But it's still, I think, an important film, because also this film was done shortly after they found the body, you know, and it steered a lot of, there it is. It steered a lot of basically discussions, you know. Look at the user reviews.
I was just crazy.
A brilliant, but too short.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah.
It's not a documentary. It's 1 hour and 40 minutes. So, of course, if you don't have money, you cannot make it too long. So, but we showed like various variations in the film. How could he die? And I think we proved with the film that he definitely didn't die alone in that bathtub. You know, because when they did the autopsy from him, they found out that he had so much drugs already in his blood, and he had a lot of drugs in his stomach that he could not, like, that's the point, right? If you take a lot of drugs, first, why you lay down in the bathtub? I mean, you just lay in the bed and die, you know, like why you lay down full dressed in the bathtub? That doesn't make any sense, you know, but in the bathtub, that makes sense for somebody who holds you down and then wants to wash the DNA up. You know, you don't have a struggle in the hotel room with like two people that want to kill you. But if the people overturn you and put you in the bathtub, and everything, when they hold you, everything is in the bathtub, then they can just fill up the bathtub and wash it a little off, and then there are no fingerprints, stuff like this. You know, and that is what I think. Because they wanted that it's a suicide, so they basically, suicide. End of the story. You know, it's like, and then they didn't really look into it.
Right.
You know, it's like, you look in the US, Epstein, you know.
Right.
I think they were happy that he did suicide. Maybe it was suicide, but they definitely didn't investigate it all the way through. You know, they were just happy that Epstein is dead. And that's a similar thing here, where a guy, he was in a way, it turned out he did illegal weapon deals with Eastern Germany at that time. They were like, and the Eastern Germany was the enemy, right? It was like Russia, basically, at that point, where the wall was still there. So, and now they wanted to get rid of him. So that's the thing. And I like stuff like this, where you have a little more where you dig a little deeper. And fiction films are sometimes better as documentaries, because you can go farther, like JFK, like great film, because you could speculate a little more, and, you know, without being directly, you don't have to prove it, but you can put like the doubt out there to say, look, I don't think he laid down full dressed in the bathtub and then put so much drugs in him that he was like 3 times dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, the thin blue line. That's why we talk about it all the time. You play with it. You let witnesses explain their side, and then just play it out in cinema, and then things start to look different. Now, Uwe, I can't skip it. Well, what are your thoughts on Jeffrey Epstein?
Uh-oh.
I have to know.
I bet that it's a little like Puff Daddy, right? So, I mean, the thing is like a lot of
Now, be careful. Terrell's a big P. Diddy
No,
fan.
I'm not. I never liked
He was
Puff
one of the people outside dancing when he came out.
Not Puff Diddy. No, not Puff Diddy, y'all. No.
No, but I think that Epstein or whatever, he was in a way very clever, right? Because he basically had a career without any qualification. Everybody thought he was that financial genius, you know, and then he basically abused that guy, took all the money from him. Then he had that private jet, he had that island. And I think he used this to gain more power in filming everybody. You know, like this kind of, here, Bill Gates, you get a nice massage. And then, and then I have the video, like Putin's P video from Trump or whatever. You know, like it's like
a P video.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
They said
We're gonna open your eyes, Terrell.
No.
No, I mean, I don't know if the video exists, you know, like, but I mean, then I don't know. I mean, Putin would totally do stuff like this, but Epstein too. But here's the big difference. For me, the big difference with Epstein or Weinstein, for example, is when you see the girls, right? They were 15, 16 years old, and they were all full-grown women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you cannot make him a pedophile. He was like, you know, when they said, because he didn't have like 10 years old girls, you know, he had women, and they were 15, 16. And yes, they were all like, they had no money. So they lured them in. Maxwell lured them in with money. And then they had kind of to serve him, you know. And, but to make this like the biggest crime on earth, I don't know, you know, because I mean, let's face it, in today's time, 15, 16 years old girls, teenagers, fuck. You know, like, I mean,
Terrell's mouth. It's true, Terrell.
But that's the reality. They have boyfriends. You know, they have boyfriends and they have relationships in that age, including sex. So now to act like because they had to massage his dick or whatever, you know, that they could do this or that was total abuse. I don't know, to be honest. You know, it's like it's a different thing and maybe he was like, of course, demanding the control. There was a control freak, and I think he was a total piece of shit,
Right.
But it's a different thing if you grab somebody, hit him in the face or hit her in the face and rape her in a hotel room, and I think that's the border, and with Puff Daddy, with the subject matter, I think. In all that years, I know also people that knew him and whatever, right? And everybody said he's dangerous, also to men and so on. And I think the violent part, when you saw the video, how he was beating her up there in the hotel floor,
it was horrible.
That is what he should get punished for.
Yeah.
If they do like crazy sex parties, and in the end there was like. Not real violence involved. I mean, she says now that it was all horrible, whatever, like fucking in front of him and like stuff like this. Yes, but on the other hand, I mean, I think she was free to leave. She was like, she could left at that point, and I mean, he threatened her maybe 100%. But I think overall, like a lot of people are very scared of him. And I think he comes totally, let's say, he did maybe way more crimes as we know.
Oh, yeah.
He was maybe involved in murders. And I mean, they all come from, they're coming from the streets. And I mean, it was also the strong side of the rap, the whole development of, because they're like Tupac and so on, Biggie, great musicians, but at the same time, they were all doing crime.
Yeah.
I mean, they had nothing before they made any money with music, and they deal drugs. And so I think they were all like on a different level in regards of willing to basically knock a guy out, threaten people with guns, and I think Puff Daddy totally did that. So we will see how much jail time he gets for this minor crimes they convicted him of now.
Yeah, I'm not guessing a lot.
Yeah, minimal.
I don't think so.
At best.
Uwe. I mean, so on the ride over here, when I was picking up Terrell, I was kind of explaining to him how you're a cultural icon, and whether it be just from fame or infamy. I mean, back before I gave a shit about film, I knew who you were before I cared about directors, for good or bad. And it's funny talking about all of this like elite society, because you've worked with like A-list actors. You've made so many movies that have shown in theaters all over the world. Were you ever accepted into like that like elite Hollywood society? You've always, in my mind, kind of been like an outsider voice who's been on top. But I'm like, did you ever get a Diddy party invite?
Unfortunately not. I had already 5 Diddy oil bottles bought and was ready to go, but nothing happened ever. So that's too bad. And I mean, I have to say, it's I think the whole career unfolded in a way very good, and at the same time, as you said, very bad, because I never joined the club. And I think for this, I'm also political too incorrect for them. And I think also they, what I think is, a lot of people in Hollywood, whatever, they respect me. The actors had no problems with me. They liked working with me, but it didn't went so far that then after whatever Jason Statham in The Name of the King, that later he said, Uwe, any film I'm in, I do it even cheaper, whatever. That didn't happen. So means a lot of people I worked with, and of course the people who didn't had like the biggest careers, they in a way stick with me and want to work with me.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Michael Bray, Clint Howard, Dominic Purcell, I shot various times with, where I can now Costas Mandalore, or, from Saw, whatever, like he's in the last two of my movies. And so I get people back, but these are not the big stars I worked with.
Yeah.
You know, if I go now to Ron Perlman, he would say, of course, Uwe, but I want $850,000. You know, like that's the thing. But I never lived in Hollywood. I cannot stand it. I'm not, you know, I just cannot, like, it's like when you first come to LA, you're like, oh, wow, Hollywood and whatever. But the longest I was there, I think in total in my whole life, I was maybe 8 to 9 weeks in LA. And then after 25 years of movie making, the longest I was there was at my first film, Sanctimony, where I wanted to make my first Hollywood film. And because I had to stay there till I had all the actors, till I had it all done. And then we were shooting in Vancouver, but I had to meet everybody. I had like Caspar Van Dien. Here, look, there was Michael Paré already in, Eric Roberts, and Kerstin Oxenberg, Jennifer Rubin. So I met various distribution companies, and it was actually good. It was a little like American Psycho, the film, you know, and Caspar Van Dien was great in it. So
this is one of the ones I haven't seen, Sanctimony. I watched a bunch of stuff to prepare for this, and actually watched as well as a bunch of your films. I watched the documentary about you called "Fuck You All," the Uwe Boll story, and I really liked it. I felt like I gained a lot of insight into you, and I felt like it was. You talk about a little bit in that sort of your relationship with your father and how you kind of had this sort of unemotional, like it was never focused on fun when you were with your dad. It sounded like, and it just, I don't know, resonated with me because I have a similar relationship with my dad. So I was just curious if that, I don't know, do you think that had like did it shape your artistic like voice in a way, coming up that way and kind of having that relationship with you? Because it seems like even in Rampage and even in Blood Rain, there's some parental stuff going on in the plots of those movies. So I was just curious if that had an effect on you.
Before I answer this, I want to just finish the LA thought.
You cut him off. He always does that, Uwe. Sorry. He cuts people off all the time.
What I couldn't stand and still cannot stand in LA is they don't answer instead of saying no. And that coming especially from Germany, right? So, and I'm coming to my father, whatever, like my like business thing, whatever, however I handle, I'm crystal clear. You get an answer from me. You know, whatever it is, I say, no, I'm not doing it, or I do it, or whatever, I do it under these circumstances, or whatever it is. I cannot, for example, I get tons of emails every day, but I try to get through it and give everybody quick, like, and then when you asked me, I answered you right away, right? Because I try everybody to clean my desk in a way to like, okay. And I know so many people, especially in LA, you make an offer to somebody, you never get a fucking answer. You never, or whatever, or somebody's like, can we watch that movie? We're interested in distributing it. And then you send a screener or something and you never get an answer.
Oh.
You know, and the answer is no, of course, but that's it.
Right.
Like, I mean,
no answer is an answer too, Uwe.
Yeah.
But you know what the problem there is with no answers and answers, that you maybe hope too long, or you think,
that's true.
Maybe they didn't get my email. Maybe you ask back, did you get the screening link? You know, shit like that. And that is pissing me off. It could be so easy if they would just answer, okay, received, and then like 3 days later we watched it, we don't want it. You know, or he saw your offer, and it's not for us. Boop. You know, and that is what I hate. This passive aggressive LA. I like New York way more. I shot movies in New York and like the New Yorker mentality way more because they are rougher and clearer. You know, so they just tell you like, no, we're not doing it. Fuck off, whatever. But you also get a yes, like, okay, I'm in. You know, And that's the thing where in Los Angeles, this kind of, and the people are always in LA, they always want to appear more as they are. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody goes out of their little shed apartment, driving down whatever the Santa Monica Avenue with a old convertible and acting like they totally have it. You know, like I'm just And then in reality, like, oh fuck, how I pay my next rent. So, and that's the other thing. What I'm not a showman. This kind of like I drive an old car. I didn't fit to LA because I don't care what T-shirt I have on, and I don't, like this kind of like showing off. I'm the big producer from Germany, blah blah blah. I'm not this guy, and that was for me the main reason I never really go to LA, because I just cannot handle this show off bullshit.
Yeah.
And but now with the other question. I mean, that's another thing where, historically it changed also, but a lot Germans are very like strict and, and like when my brother also, we both talked about my father a lot, who was yelling around since we were small and yelling and yelling and yelling. That was the most thing what was in my remember ring with him, and then also his negativity. So this kind of like, why the fuck you want to make movies? What, are you fucking insane? Like why like you will never have a career, you never do anything. But I have to say the resistance, also what Russell said, with this kind of that I was never part of the club, that also was filling my engine. I'll show you fuckers.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, the German film industry hated me from the beginning on. They do only subsidized TV movies here. And when they saw, oh, fuck, what is he doing? House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain, Ben Kingsley, Jason Statham. So they were like totally jealous, like here in Germany and so on. And I think my father, when he saw it works, he calmed there a little down and recognized that I actually, I'm able to make a living and everything. But this kind of heart going against me, that also was really like this kind of, okay, I'll show you, and he was like, I have to, I don't know if I said in the documentary, but I have it. There is a book also. I wrote my autobiography, right? I can send it to you for Bear Minion's book, where it's like in English. And so what he basically, I came late in puberty, so I was weak. When I was 14, 15, I was smaller as the other boys who were already men. And so he told me, like, I'm a wreck, I'm a loser. And that is why I went to boxing.
Okay.
To go to boxing. And then
the origins.
This kind of, he pushed me. I said, I will show you fuckers, right? So, and then I went to boxing, and then then I sticked with it for 14 years. I went to boxing like 3-4 times training. That was the reason I could box the reviewers without a problem, because I know I did a lot of hard fights. So, and then, but that was also like, that was my result out of it. It's like, so my personality type is I can fight, I can not in the boxing, but I'm in general, like when people say you cannot do this, you will never get Hollywood stars, you will never blah, blah, blah. Then I start working on this. And I think that is one of my biggest, in a way, even if it comes from a not good psychological situation, but it definitely triggers that I can go against the will of others, or I can go against hurdles, that I don't give up.
Right.
When we shot First Shift in New York, like 2 years ago, or whatever, 2 years ago, we had that walkout from the whole crew who wanted to do a union.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they were like not the whole crew, but a lot of crew people. They said, we want to go union, and I said, it's an independent movie. We did contracts. No, but that's the truth. So you handle. You say you want to do hair and makeup, $300 a day. They all signed contracts, and then they wanted to flip the show to union. And I mean, I paid the bills, not like whatever Paramount Plus, So and that's the thing. And that's not happening. And then they thought they have me by the balls, but then they didn't really did the research who I am, right? So, and I said, no, fuck off. You can all go. I shoot the movie without you, without hair and makeup. I do props. My AD was gone, script girl gone, and we kept shooting the movie, and because nobody blackmails me, that triggers in me right away. Like, no, I don't need you. I have my German camera. crew. I need only camera, sound, and the actors. When it comes down, all this ballast, like all that people who are on the film crew, you don't really need them. We had no catering, so we did Uber Eats, or we just stopped and went into like a restaurant and ate for lunch. And the actors were game. The actors were all like, we give a fuck. So because we want to make the film, and that was the reason First Shift. I would shoot First Shift 2 and 3 in September, and the thing is, the actors were so good. That was the best and the worst experience of my whole life. What's happened there, because it was bringing me back to my German Front movie times, where we had to do everything. There was no crew, right? So and that the actors stayed so loyal, and the actors were like talking to their crew and said, "Are you fucking mental? Like, you pressure here at the shooting day 4, you say, if you don't switch to union, we walk." The actors told the people, like the grip guy, whatever, like, fuck off. That's so low to do this. That shows you don't care about the movie. You don't care. So and then I feel also like I was so mad with that guys, but at the same time it was this kind of you started sleeping, like falling almost dead down in your bed every night, and you get up at 6 a.m. and you're like ready to fight, right? So like, okay, okay, done. And that was the greatest feeling of my whole career there. And it's so absurd because normally you would think, okay, whatever, in the name of the king, big movie set up, 1,000 people on set. But that feeling was better as, this fulfillment. I was happy on In the Name of the King too, shooting the film. But this kind of like, okay, we will prove that movie gets in the can. And I felt that, that's what I mean. It's like this, other people, maybe Frank Lustig, my partner from the old days, he stepped out after the Barschel film, after the second film. He stepped out and said, I am being a journalist. I cannot handle this. So, because, you have to handle bad reviews. You have to handle, if something is not a success at all, all that stuff. And I felt always with the bad reviews on House of the Dead, what everything started at with House of the Dead, right? I felt that going as a film buff myself, who watched at least 12,000, 13,000 films, to say these are the worst movies ever, I think they didn't watch enough movies. That's insane to say House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark are the worst movies ever. It's total bullshit. It has nothing to do with reality. I think they didn't dig that blockbuster deep enough. There were so many shit movies produced, and movies where only the cover is watchable. And then you watch the film and you think, what the fuck is that? And that I was in that category with reviewers is total absurd.
Yeah. And Uwe, let me go ahead and I'll speak for everybody of my age group that kind of probably cursed you with this, or it might be a blessing. Honestly, now I think it might be that you're an outsider voice, because I think you have a lot of freedom, and kind of where media is now, that's a huge benefit. Not to be in like one of those elite groups. It seems to just be holding people back. But I remember when House of the Dead came out, I think I was your target demographic. I was also convinced I would be playing in the NFL. That was going to be my goal. So I didn't try very hard in school. I also didn't really give a shit about movies either. And actually, I ended up hurting my leg, and I was in the cast for a while. And that's where I fell in love with film. I watched Monkey Shines with a bunch of friends.
Oh, you did?
Everybody thought it was the dumbest shit they ever saw, but we had a great time. And I said, dude, I'm going to collect horror movies, and I'm going to have people come over and we're going to watch them. And I remember way before that, or actually it was after, it was House of the Dead, and I watched it, and I remember I felt betrayed because I was like, this isn't what I wanted. Like, House of the Dead was a game that I deeply connected to cinema, because it was in arcades that you would see before, you'd play it before or after going to the movie.
Because I played that a lot.
And honestly, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted. And I think, now we live in a world where Marvel kind of figured it out. I think you just have to treat the IP nice and then that's fine. But honestly,
because these fans will kill you.
They'll kill you.
Yeah, if
But
it's not up
here's
to
the
par
thing.
with what they expect.
But it
House of the
makes
Dead?
the art so much less interesting, right? Because House of the Dead is so much fun to revisit because it's like, I don't know, it doesn't.
Well,
do
hold
that.
on. I know. Hold on. Now, I think the problem is the House of the Dead isn't a great game. It kind of represented
Exactly,
a fun
yeah.
thing to do in the theater with your friends.
Yeah.
But name a character. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
no
mean?
main thing.
So I think there was kind of a, I remember at the time, I know I'm older than you guys, but at the time video games were very low art. Like not just lowbrow, it was light art. Dumb people did them. It was a waste of time. It was going to ruin the country. And then you get a movie that represents this thing that clearly the culture has moved that direction.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, this isn't what we wanted. But I don't think any of us could have told you what we wanted anyway. So it's like a weird cultural moment. And I don't know. I feel like you deserve an apology. So I'm going to give you one. And,
that is what I was saying. I remember when I said, like, what you were expecting, Schindler's List with zombies or what?
Yeah.
The people, I will never forget, I was at the game convention in San Diego, and there were really 3,000-4,000 people, and there were various people on not San Diego, Seattle. It was in Seattle. So it was not the Comic-Con, it was the game set. And then there were like...
Oh, yeah, PAX West.
Yeah, there were like 3,000-4,000 people, and I came on stage, and they booed me 2 minutes. There was
For House of the Dead?
I couldn't talk or whatever. It was impossible. And then I said, like, and the host was like slowly walking away from me, basically, right? And
I don't want it.
No,
No
and
tomatoes.
I took the microphone and said, like, shut the fuck up. I mean, like, and that was like, and the funny thing is, then, so they booed and booed and booed. So you basically, it was very short. There was like this kind of, like, I walked off the stage after 5-6 minutes because it didn't stop. And then I went to a table where people could get my autograph. And it was like a lineup of 300-400 people, right? And they're like, "Oh,
wow!
Can you sign that? Can you sign that? Can you sign that?" And I told everybody there, I said, like, "Okay, but where were you when everybody was?"
Yeah, when they were all booing you, like, where was you at?
Exactly. And that was the thing where I felt like, okay, that's so absurd. And when I talked yesterday, I did I told Evan, I did yesterday with Jeff Schneider. The guy from Variety, a podcast for myself. Like, I taped him because he was one of the guys I boxed. And we evaluated the boxing fights yesterday, and we talked about it. And he said it was cool to bash you. Right? All these people wanted to be cool, and to be cool with their friends or cool with their other journalists, whatever, is, of course, Uwe Boll is the worst guy. Of course. So they had to repeat in every article written about me, like, people say it's the worst director ever. Like stuff like this. They basically, it was a must to write that, whatever movie it is. And that
didn't matter what it was. You must have the thickest of thick skin. Like, how did you get that? Because I read comments and I don't know. How do you get that? I'd be popping off. But anyways, how do you, like, keep that thick skin and just, I don't know. Like, how do you get there?
No, but I think you get used to it. Like,
you get used to it. Okay.
They the reviewers never loved me. So you get bashed, and then you at one point, you think, okay, fuck it. I live with it. And I, in a way, play with it, like, okay, then come in the ring and fight me, fuck off. So, and that's the thing. It's like, and that made it, of course, in a way worse because I answered, like, they thought I tried to kiss their ass, and then I did the opposite. I told the journalist also, like, you're fucking retard. You have no clue. You have no clue from films. If you think that movie is so bad, I think you didn't watch enough movies. So I schooled the reviewers a lot, and then they hate you more. They want to prove it. And the funny thing is when I made then other films, and like Sound of Wall Street, Rampage, whatever, where they had to give it some credit, then you feel also like movies like Rampage, for example, or The Four, Tunnel Rats, they are like hands down very good films. They're like very good films. And a lot of reviewers they felt that they're very good films, but they just couldn't go there. They just had to write like, oh, that's more interesting, more solid, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 3 out of 5. Because they couldn't jump to, no, that's a great film. You know, they couldn't do it because they bashed me so many times before that they said, I'm talentless. I have no talent at all. So they cannot admit maybe he had talent and I was wrong. And that I think that is also what Jeff yesterday said, right? He said, like, the problem is now, if you have an opinion about somebody, it's like in sports, you know, when you have a player, like in football, in baseball, whatever, where you don't really truly believe in, and then he gets better, you have problems to admit that. You know, that you were maybe wrong and the player didn't develop the way you know, like that's the thing. And I feel, in a way, it got for me, I feel it now with the internet, you know, like with this kind of what we're doing here right now. That was 20 years ago, 15 years ago, not existing.
No.
Yeah.
You basically got bashed on websites like the Wrap, whatever, Variety. All of this, what we're doing here right now, didn't exist. And now it's more democracy, right? So more like you have actually film fans, they make podcasts, they do their own websites, they do have their own channels. And I feel more love the last 2 years. I have, you know, a lot of people asked me and said, no, I love that film. I love that film. And when you go on Amazon, look at how my films are voted on Amazon. That's different as IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
On Amazon, people, they watch my movies, just normal people, and they vote. Most of my films have 4 points. Most of my films. And, you know, that is, I think, what matters. And last week I was surprised that was an article, 17 years old, really bad just Jason Statham movie is in the top 10 of Amazon Prime in the US. There was a whole article written about it. Like,
Jason Statham?
Yeah, In the Name of the King, like Dungeon Siege.
Oh, I've never seen that.
I told you about that when we were driving up
but
here.
I was like, I love Jason Statham. So
Yeah.
I'd never seen that one.
You can go on Amazon Prime and you watch it now. You know. So, and the thing is, like, so it was in a 17 years old film in the top 10, and
17 years.
Was a whole
That's a long time ago.
About it, like that how is that possible that so a shit film is in the top 10 now, 17 years after it was made? And I mean, the answer is very simple, because it's not a shit film. You know, it's because Jason Statham has a lot of fans, but I mean, there's Ray Liotta there's John Rhys Davis, there's Burt Reynolds in one of his last parts as an actor. So it's not only him, but it's a big, epic, also video game based, like, fantasy film. And, you know, and this movie also got totally bashed when it came out. And sorry, but I mean, I watched fantasy films that were way worse. And it's not Lord of the Rings, but it's a good film with more action. So, you know, and it's technical, still holding up. You can watch that. It's like top-notch fighting, top-notch CGI and everything. So, and I have said a lot, where also House of the Dead, I'm very interested in there comes that new House of the Dead film next year. From you know, so the guy who did Resident Evil will do a new House of the Dead film. And I have a good gut feeling about my film. Let's say it this way. You know, when that new film comes, I think Paul Anderson is not a good director. I think only the same movies over and over with Mila Jovovich's wife. You know, and it's always the same shit, and they will use a lot of cheap CGI zombies.
I like her.
We did House of
I watch them all.
Yeah, you're watching it, but I don't think he made one movie like Darfur or Rampage or Assault on Wall Street or Tunnel Red,
right?
Ever, you know. So, and I think he has a different approach. But what I told to Lionsgate, look, you need to re-release House of the Dead when that other movie comes out. That will be in 3,000 movie theaters. Do like midnight screenings of the original. People will go and watch it.
Yeah, I think they definitely will. Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, Lionsgate is very slow in making any decisions, but we have one more year before that other movie comes out. And if they do that clever, a lot of people will watch maybe both. And so there could be more revenues coming in, what would be good. And and I think My House of the Dead will hold up. I mean, it's we had that matrix set up, we had that turntable, we had a lot of gimmicks in House of the Dead, like they were at that point technical problematic to do, but they're very modern, and that's the thing. I mean, did you watch 28 Years Later?
Yeah.
Yes,
Already?
twice.
What do you think about that?
I liked it. Russell loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? What were you gonna
I haven't
say?
seen it yet.
Please, I want to hear your opinion so badly.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. The 28 Days Later came almost out when House of the Dead came out.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh yeah.
I think that movie and my movie were the first movies where zombies actually can run,
Yeah.
and that was the
Yeah.
the big difference, right? And I love Danny Boyle, and I loved 28 Days Later. It was really way better. I don't like the new one as I like 28 Days Later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I think in times where you have now also The Last of Us, where you have this kind of similar, I mean, it's a fungus and but they're basically zombies.
Right.
I think The Last of Us, the first season was the best thing based on video games I ever watched.
Oh, it was 1,000%.
Yeah, but the
second one just fell off hardcore.
it was a disaster. And and they split up now. You saw that, right? So
It's just Craig Mazin now.
Yeah.
Druckmann left.
I know, but they should. That's the problem with Hollywood, right? They're writing things to death.
Yeah.
And it's like you should never shoot season 3 of The Last of Us. It will be the end. People will think like, "Oh my fucking god!" That's the.
It's gonna be the other girl's storyline. It's. Oh, sorry.
No,
Yeah, they're going to try and squeeze money out that rock.
Yeah,
though.
they
know
are.
it. If there's a dime to be had,
it's
fuck.
No, but they did that. Look, when he dies in episode 3, basically,
He did so early. I think it was episode 2, and I was like, "Oh, damn! They just cut him out like that."
No, but it was that scene was so powerful. It was so surprising that he dies, right? So that was great. But then I would just do the 3 or 4 more episodes. She goes for the revenge on an absolute rampage, and then everybody's dead. End of the whole show. Finish it up. You cannot always keep the glimpse going. And I think with 28 weeks later, I think it's a bad idea to make a trilogy out of it. That idea, now we're making cash for 3 more movies. I think it will also fall off a cliff in the one new one would be good. Now that idea of now we're milking it and making like for the next 8 years 3 movies, big mistake. And the Last of Us also, it will be like nobody will watch it anymore in season 3. That's the thing. And I feel like I always give people an end. Kind of where you feel like, okay, he tells the story till the end. That's it. And not like, I have to have an open end so I can continue with something.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think the overall quality of movies based on the streaming invasion went down.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's really like, I don't know what they do with the algorithm, whatever, that every AI writes now the final version of the script. But but it's this kind of where you really feel like, what is this? That's like when you I'm already happy if something is entertaining. Like if you feel like, okay, I could watch that, I'm okay with it. But there is less and less this kind of wow.
Yeah.
Like
writing has gone
The
to
Last
hell.
of Us, when he dies, that was a wow episode. And in Breaking Bad, you had that all the time. Where you had like, holy fucking shit. So and I watch Mobland right now. I don't know if somebody was with Tom Hardy, but that show is on Paramount Plus. That show has some surprising, brutal twist where you think like, what the fuck, so where people die.
Yeah, I heard that was a good show.
Mobland, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was good. Yep.
Yeah, it's with Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren, and Tom Hardy is the fixer of like this Irish mob family, and it's super brutal. And I had a blast watching it. And in general, I think in the last few years, like the TV series, a lot of times are better. The structures are better. You can tell a story a little longer. Cobra Kai was 10 times better as the movie now, the Karate Kid new movie. That was just too rushed. It was this kind of, you have Russell there, and then you have Jackie Chan there, but they're barely in the movie. There's barely really getting ready for the fights. And then the fights are a joke. Where you think, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was quick.
Sport, and then on the rooftop, why? And who pays the money, the prize money? When I said $50,000, and then you think it's just a bunch of street fighters, where you feel like, okay, but who actually puts the $50,000 up? There was no sponsor.
You're thinking about everything in this movie. They threw that together because Cobra Kai was very, very, very popular. So, what movies or shows out? Oh, besides shows, what movies out here that you've seen as of recent that you actually liked?
That's.
Oh yeah, I can tell you ain't liking nothing.
No, as I said, I'm more a TV series guy,
Okay, so Mob and Last of Us.
Yeah, I watched on Paramount Plus. I watched all that Taylor Sheridan stuff,
Okay. Yeah.
So I love The Mayor of Kingstown. It's like I think Lioness also goes off the charts now. It's like too over the top. It has a good season 1, and then Lioness. I think it's just bullshit now, and. I hate movies then, we are the elite unit. And before they say the other guys have trained fighters, and then when they're actually in combat, 8 Americans shoot 350 Islamic fighters, and one gets hurt from the Americans. I mean, what the fuck? That's the thing. I think that's for me too patriotic and too bullshit, like unrealistic. But 1883 was great, and 1923 was great. Yellowstone was great. Besides the end, good shows.
The ending. I don't watch that.
But I like this kind of shows. But in the movies, I mostly go with my kids. So it's the reason I watched Karate Kid, whatever.
Yeah.
And Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, I had fun with that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And but I watched all that Oscar movies just to see what's going on, and I think it's a joke what gets nominated for Oscars today.
Yeah.
It's also like they have nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Movies like The Godfather or whatever, they're not getting done anymore. So what do you want to nominate for an Oscar? Like Superman, or like that?
That was good too. I don't like Superman, but I actually like that movie.
I didn't watch it so far.
It's good.
Maybe don't watch it in the movie theaters. Maybe I'll watch it here on pay TV. But I never liked Superman. I didn't like
me neither.
As a comic,
that movie made me a fan.
I didn't like the Superman movies. It's different to Batman, where I really liked some stuff.
I love Batman.
Yeah. The Dark Knight was a masterpiece as a film. There were only a few of that films where you would say that was a standalone masterpiece. And there was definitely Dark Knight, and there was definitely also the Joker 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the first Joker, not the second with that Harley Quinn shit. No. That was weird as fuck, boring as fuck. Why did they make that movie? Joker
the second one?
Yeah, that musical. I like Lady Gaga, but bitch, that wasn't... I'm sorry.
So, the Joker 2, I think, was basically... First of all, you cannot continue the Joker after that film.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and if you would continue it, you have to keep this very dark, devastating mood of the first one. And I think they didn't want to do it, but it made so much money that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix said, we fucked them over. We pay each other like $20 million, and then we make a film where we basically destroy the franchise forever.
Yeah, it did.
That's Tim Dillon's theory as well on what happened there.
Yeah, and I think that
it ruined it. Even Gaga herself didn't like it.
No, but because it had no sense, it made no sense. It was complete bullshit. And I think
half of it was a dream. Spoiler alert: this shit was weird.
But in the old days, a studio like that's different now with the studios now, where only like bankers sitting. But in the old days, a real producer of the studio would never allow to shoot that.
Yeah,
you know that the Warner or whatever, they would say like, "Are you fucking out of your mind?" Then we're not doing it at all. You know, or we do a new one without that director, whatever, right? So, but they just like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. I tell you, Barbie 2 will bomb.
Oh, are they doing another one?
The first Barbie was great. I know they're supposedly doing another Barbie. Yeah.
Yeah, but
oh really? I didn't think the first one was that great. I thought it was fine. It was all right.
I think the Barbie movie was completely shit. Like,
I lean further that direction.
I was like, "Oh my fucking god!"
Had fun.
It's the worst bullshit I ever. I mean, look, of course, I'm not the target audience for Barbie, but when I was watching it in an airplane, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
On an airplane?
Yeah.
Okay.
The movies with Barbie. I mean, nobody would get me the Barbie. All the women were dressed up as little Barbie dolls.
Because they Barbie. It's Barbie Land.
I think Barbie was a success because it played into the woman's dreams, how we can dress up as little Barbies ourselves, where we grew up with the puppet, with the toy. We go to the movies and celebrate this kind of Barbie renaissance. That made the success. But I think that's over now. The second part will be more about, like, is there any story to watch? Or is it just Ryan Gosling, like, smiling into the camera again? I mean, that was the
the shade.
That was
he won awards for this.
Did he really?
Like Ken doll. That movie was fine. It was just about, these women and how they didn't have a voice and the dolls were all taking the Ken try to take over. I don't know. I liked it. It was I didn't mind that.
Are you going to get that new Barbie?
No.
They have a diabetes Barbie coming out.
No, I don't collect.
She got a glucose meter.
Is that real?
That's real.
He's making this up.
No, okay, hold on.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
I can produce this show too.
Yeah, Evan ain't doing it.
Here we go.
What do you mean? I've been
Barbie.
pulling shit up the whole time.
They got
there you go.
Barbie.
New York Times. Wears blue polka dots and a glucose monitor.
Is that offensive? Why would they do that?
I don't know. Apparently, there's a market. Maybe
and they made her. She's so skinny. Oh, I thought she was gonna be a fat bitch.
Look at that shit,
like
dude.
A fat Barbie.
She got type 1 diabetes. All right,
but she is stick. Okay,
that's gonna be Barbie 2, the movie.
Moving on to strong female characters. Let's go on, Uwe. Let's talk about Blood Rain. I love me a bitch that could fight, and I used to play those games all the time. Talk about Blood Rain a little bit.
You played Blood Rain, Terrell?
I did. I have part 1 and part 2 on PS2. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my favorite show of all time. It's a girl who fights vampires. I didn't think about that. And this is a vampire girl who fights vampires. So it's like right up my alley, right? So so Blood Rain, you have a trilogy of these.
Yeah.
Right?
I like the character too, like you, and she was sexy. She was at the same time.
She was until you recasted her to somebody else. So what happened? What happened with this?
What the hell? The muzzle's off. What the?
I mean, but at that time, I looked for video games in a way that I didn't want it to make the same video games movies, so I looked for different genres. And Majestic at Blood Rain, they were ready to give me the movie rights, and so I felt, okay, who should be Blood Rain? I mean, Kristanna Loken at that time, because of Terminator 3, she had a real following, and so I felt, would she do it? She said yes, like tall, blonde, whatever, and we made her red hair then, like the game. Yeah, we shot in Romania. I think it was the most strange shoot of all my movies because the Romania had so much corruption
Ooh.
craziness, bad food, wild dog.
Oh, that's bad. You had me at bad food.
Yeah,
That-
oh my god! And then there was like, I mean, there were Michael Madsen who just died, and he came drunk to set the first day and
Oh.
spit in the face of Christina Loken.
Oh,
Wait,
shit.
who did? Was it the one that was licking her titties?
Yes.
No. Michael Madsen did it.
The
older guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And,
oh my god, you hear this?
Everybody told me now you have to fire him, whatever. And I said, okay, but we're in Romania. Who should play that part then now? Like, I mean, now, not in 2 weeks. Like, we're shooting now.
Right.
You know, you have somebody at the corner standing there. So I kept it through the whole show. and it was a tough show based on the thing, like the studio we worked with. They really tried to screw us over, and they were not paying the crew properly. You know, the crew came to us like, okay, we're getting $40 a day. And I said,
that's
I pay
it?
$100 to that studio. And they said they give you the $100. So we had this talk with the studio where we used that production services, and they said, no, we pay the people Romanian prices and you pay the full price, right? And we said, okay, but why is then you get $100,000 from us as a fee? You know, I said there are two options. You skim money from every paycheck from your employees, but then you are not getting $100,000 from us to handle this. Or you get $100,000 to handle this, but then you give the money 1-to-1 to the crew because we want that they are happy.
Right.
They were very unhappy. And they said, even for Romanian money, that's not enough. And blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of battle where we basically, it's kind of mafia land there, you know, where they said, you have to be careful. So they threatened us to not get too harsh, right? So, and then we shot a lot on the countryside, that all that castles are real in the movie. You know, they look like CGI, but they're actually real. We shot there, and it was really like, as I said, the food, like the craft service table was a cappuccino machine, like where you push the button, and some cookies. You know, and really, I always looked out for local bakeries or like butcher shops to make myself a sandwich, but there was not a lot. And we had so much like right in front of us, there was a horse carriage with a guy, like a farmer, and the truck drove into that horse carriage, and the horse was flying in 100 pieces through the air.
Oh my god!
On like right in front of us. Then my driver drove over a dog, dead.
Oh my god!
They don't watch where they going.
No,
what the fuck?
No, and there were like thousands and thousands of dogs, like wild dogs in the film studio too. I was feeding the dogs every day when I was there. And
that food was so nasty. You got to give it to the dogs.
Christina Loken took a dog home. Then
she did?
Yeah, she adopted a dog, Bobby. I adopted Daisy. I had a dog from Germany with me, like my own dog. And then I was with the dog, and Daisy was at that point like almost a puppy. She was running over the studio. And the crowd of wild dogs I had a black shepherd, Laura, so was a bigger dog, so she could in a way defend herself, but she was scared shitless because there were so many wild dogs, right? And that's a great episode, like, because at that point I was still like in a way top fit. I was jogging every day, and around the studio was a forest, and I went to a jog like second day in the forest, and Laura followed me, like my dog, and then we ran around like running through the pathway, and then we came, and they were like, I'm not lying, at least 200 wild dogs.
Oh shit!
Laying there.
Oh my god!
They got up, and Laura was straight in my legs, like super scared, and they were like growling at me, like they could completely.
Oh my god!
Like, shred
How'd you get out of that?
You know, so I kept slowly walking and like yelling, like go away, right? They came close, but they were not biting, and then. And that's again then the typical Uwe Boll. So the next day I did it again, but I had in my backpack dog food. So
you fed 200 dogs?
Yeah, I did the same thing. No, but I had like little treats, right? So the little like like this size. But I had like 10 kilos. So I was running and running. So I came back there. I think the dogs were like, "What the fuck?" There's that guy like far away. I took already the backpack off and was full with my hand. I throwed the food, right? And they were like completely happy. Like they were like totally excited. Actually, it was interesting how the character change comes right away. And then I kept running, and from the next day on, these dogs were waiting for me in the forest. There was
you made friends.
Yeah, there was no more.
It's like a Disney movie. Nice.
They were standing there and waiting for me, and but as I said, there were so many things. It was another. I just tell you one more story about it, because that's the movie with the most memories I have, where you feel like.
I bet it sounds like it. You got some big names in that movie too: Michelle Rodriguez, Ben Kingsley.
Meatloaf. I had Meatloaf in it.
Yeah, Meatloaf.
Yeah.
And Geraldine Chaplin, Michael.
Yep.
So we were in a little shit hotel in a monastery, and my dog, and it was pissing rain. Everything was full of mud, and we did a big battle. People like slashing each other with like blood, whatever. But we were running. We shot the whole night, and the guys from the monastery said, "We have a wedding the next day in that monastery." And I mean, how we left the monastery was full of blood, mud, and an absolute disaster, right? And they're like, I went in a hotel room, and I came into the hotel room, and my dogs were so dirty. Like I had Daisy with me already, the 2 dogs. And so I put them in the shower. I showered them down. I showered myself, and there was only one towel. Right, so and then it was like my whole hotel room looked like completely crap. So the next day, we shot like on the grass, whatever, the same thing, pissing rain. I came back at 5:00 in the morning in my hotel room, and my hotel room was not cleaned at all. Exactly how I left my hotel room. Like there was no more towels. Everything was super dirty, and there was nobody at the reception anymore. And then I had to basically put everybody in the shower again and clean them with the blankie, the bed sheet and stuff.
Oh, no.
And then I went to the monastery, and there was the bride and the groom with the priest and 100 guests walking through the mud, like to the where they did the wedding. It's not the end of the story. So I was standing there with my DP, with Matthias Neumann, with the cameraman. And we turned around, and he said, "Look, 100 meters away on a corner, that looks like my suitcase."
Oh, no.
Like, why? Why this should be your suitcase? We didn't check out of the hotel, right? There was like and I said, why your suitcase should stay on the road? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It was the most absurd thing. So we walked over. It was his suitcase. Somebody packed his suitcase out of his hotel room and put it at the street corner in Romania.
Oh, that's so messed up. What kind of place is this?
It's like the X-Files. Where you like, so we took the suitcase and rolled it back to the hotel. And I like, why? That I still don't know why, right? So where I feel like, what the fuck? But that was Blood Rain. I have the most memories of total absurd stuff. And stuff what was Michael Madsen bought 2 guns. He had he had a bodyguard. He was always drunk. And then he came in a trailer, and he had 2 loaded guns, like revolvers, in his belt. Mm-hmm. Like, Uwe, I need to protect myself. I said, no, you don't. I said, like, why do you have fucking guns? And he's like,
from the dog,
to protect myself. So, and I told him, like, look, we have to go to the video village. I have to show you some filmed scenes from the day before. I wanted to get him out of my fucking trailer, right? Who knows if he shoots me in the end? So, and then I walked out with him out of the trailer and told his bodyguard, like, you need to grab gun on the left side. I grabbed the gun on the right side. And
take that shit from him, his drunk ass. For real.
And he was walking, and then like 1, 2, 3, so we took the guns away. And then did nothing. He kept walking like, whatever.
Oh.
And I told
he didn't feel that.
no, I said, like, let these guns disappear or you're fired. But that was blood red. You know, and you go now to a film set in the US, and they're like, oh God, you want to shoot a blank? You want to shoot, like, they're all pissing since Alec Baldwin. Nobody wants to shoot guns anymore.
Oh yeah,
it's so absurd. You know, it's absolutely safe to shoot blanks, and only because of one idiot armorer and crew. Now they bring the whole thing. I'm a big fan of practical effects. Let's do it and don't do CGI, right? So, and we have the whole discussion with the upcoming film in New York. Oh, you cannot do this. You need a gun specialist. I said, what gun specialist? You just need an armorer with blanks. You know? So, I mean, there is no risk. The risk is if you have a total idiot and have live rounds and blanks on set. I never had a film set where they had live rounds. You know, like where you have real ammunition on set. You cannot, as an armorer, you cannot have real ammunition in your truck. Period. And in the film with Alec Baldwin, they had boxes with real ammunition in the trunk because when on the day off they were target shooting, right? So they had and that is the beginning of the mistake. Then ammunition can get mixed up. People don't care, and boom, camera woman dead. So. But it's but now this kind of stuff destroys the whole film industry because it's a huge thing. When you see CGI bullets, it's bullshit. You see also when you do the script explosion, right? So I mean, I like to just do a special effect. You have the script, you have an explosion, the blood thing comes out. It looks more real. If you do this with CGI, it looks like you have a blood coming out above the shirt, but not from deep within. And it costs way more money as to do a script. So all of this now gets into question, you know, and it's the wrong path. It's bullshit. Also, the actors react different. If you do nothing, you have a prop gun, you do this. And there's no... you know what? Then the victim reacts bad. And the shooter reacts because they don't react at all. They have just a rubber gun, like, beep, 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 beep. You know, like nobody plays realistically. But if you know as the victim, there is a script exploding, and you know as the shooter, there will be a bam and a fire thing coming out, you act different, you act better.
Yep.
Yeah.
God damn.
Wow, that's crazy. And then you did 2 and 3, and you have a different actress. Did she just not show up because Romania was just so
that
crazy?
Actress go. Look here.
I'm just wondering. I'm curious.
Natasha Malte played them.
Yep, from 2 and 3.
Local wanted too much money for the second and third part. We didn't have the money.
Oh, that makes sense then.
So I exchanged her. Malte was in Elektra. She was in Dead or Alive. Also game films. And she was a little more like smaller, dark hair, ballerina girl. And also these shoots were very hard. And in the western city, that was in Borderland, in Canada, and it was winter. It was very cold. And we had a huge accident with one of the gas heaters burned. And so the hose started burning, so the gas heater was burning. And then the stunt guy said, out, like, because the burner, like the 20-liter gas tank, was standing together with 20 gas tanks. Like, in a thing. So we all ran away from this wood barn, whatever it was, run up the hill, and then it started like boom, boom, like
damn,
exploded after the other, and we're flying through the roof. So they called already the fire department, and we were standing there looking for 5 hours how that half of the western town burned down, because they all started.
Oh man!
Like 3 buildings burned down, and the fire department came, of course, and they said you cannot go down there as long there is an explosive risk. And And then I don't forget it. Like Natasha Malta was a little like this kind of dreamer girl, like like she was like not really very arty. And so it was like 3:30 a.m. So there was her trailer. I knocked on the trailer and opened the door, and she was sitting on her bed with like iPods on, like la 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 la. And I like,
he's funny.
It looks like you don't know what's going on. You're sitting here since 3.5 hours. La 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 la. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Look out of the truck. So I took her out of the truck and showed her like down and she saw the whole town was burning, right? And she saw it first with us doing this for the film, right? And I told her like, no, the whole gas tanks exploded because if you ever read the script you're in, there is no fire in the city. She thought like we changed the script and made the decision to burn down the whole city.
She thought it was a part of the act.
I told her like, are you insane? Like the city burns for fucking real, and there are real fire trucks who would be not there if we shoot a western.
True. Because part 2. Oh yeah.
It was so fun. I will never forget that. I was looking at her like, oh my god. I mean, how can a human being be so stupid? Losing my shit. And that was the biggest insurance case we had in my career. And that was a big problem too, because we had to repair very quickly at least half of this houses to keep shooting.
Yeah.
So there was like a few days, no shooting. And then the whole crew gets money. So that was, I think, in the very end, the insurance had to pay $600,000.
Oh,
damn! Yeah. To fix the problem, So, yeah.
Damn.
So
is that where
we did 1.5 hours? Maybe we do 15 more minutes. And then,
dude, I know. I'm like,
yeah.
There are two very important questions that we have to ask.
Yeah.
And I know, Evan, you've been chomping at the bit to talk to him. You've been very good, very respectful. So we have to let you.
He cut him off.
I know, but that's only one out of like the potential 10 that would be in a normal episode. One, Uwe, we're all part of a film festival. We only show in-world camera movies, which is, like found footage horror, faux documentary. You retired and came back. It was inevitable. We had to ask you at some point. Are we going to get an Uwe indie movie anytime soon? And what are the odds that it's found footage?
It's funny. I don't think it will happen, but I had a great...
Oh, come on. Lie to us, dude.
No, I had a great idea for found footage thing where like kind of zombies, not zombies, but this kind of killer brigade comes to me and kills me and my whole family. And to just shoot them in my house with my real family and then put it out there without commentaries that everybody's saying. It's like,
wow.
Fake
you spoiled it. That would have been great.
Dude, yeah.
But no, I'm not doing it. But it would be, I think it would be a great idea to do something like this, to basically shoot it and air it 2 days later. And then it's like this kind of, what the fuck, and then keep everybody like under the umbrella, like whatever. We are not like responding to anything. And then that you really throw the market off, that everybody feels like, is that real? Did the guy get murdered at home?
Yeah.
The style, you sort of toy with the body cam footage and the style of the stuff with like Rampage, and especially in part 3, there's a lot of like faux news broadcasts and like screen life moments and stuff where you're looking at like security cameras, and so it feels right there. It would be really cool to see you take on something that is
I have to wait
that
a few
format.
years to do it, but then I will. I'll come back to it. But it's interesting, I'm definitely the thing with found footage. Did I ever told you on Blair Witch Project? I was in an elevator with the girl from Blair Witch Project in
Heather.
Heather.
Yeah, so in Vancouver. So and I hated Blair Witch Project.
I love it.
You do?
I love it.
Yeah, because it was so silly. It was like I didn't believe for a moment it was fucking found footage. So I looked at her. She looked at me. She didn't know who I was, and I'm so scared.
I'm sure she loved
What
that.
is she? I bet she did.
What did she say or do?
She told me like I'm an asshole, right? So and I like, oh my god, I told her like that was the most fucking bullshit I ever watched, and then and she was like,
Uwe is
and then
funny.
she got out of the elevator and ran away, basically. But the thing was, it was really like, if you're in the forest and you think somebody kills you, why you shine the light in your face the whole time? Because the camera, like I told you, I see absolutely nothing. You just have to. I mean, to be honest, like like if I think there's somebody in the forest who actually kills me, I don't put any lights on
Mhm.
at all,
Yeah.
because then you're toast, right? So, and that's the thing. It's like, and she's shined it in her face. And when I watched it, I mean, it was like, this is film history, like Paranormal Activities too. Like that's film history because they were able to create something similar to what Terrifier is doing. It creates an emotion in an audience that they think we have to watch this now.
Mhm.
Even like that, this must watch. And then when you come back down later, you see that they're not great movies or great movie making or great acting, but they came at the right time with the right concept. And we have in Germany is a YouTube channel, Demon Hunters or whatever the name is, and they do this now as a subscription-based YouTube channel. They go to haunted houses where they have like this kind of, we're in an old tunnel. They say Adolf Hitler is still living. Well, shit like this, right? And then they basically do the whole thing. Every episode is in a different kind of bunker, underground tunnel system or haunted house. And it's always the same bullshit. I feel the spirit. And then and they make shitloads of money with that. I think they make like 200-300 grand a month on their subscriptions, but they spend maximum 20,000 per production, and they put up maybe 1 or 2 a month. They always like 60 to 80 minutes long, but it's always exactly the same. And I like look at this and think like this guy's is they're geniuses, because I could never do this. I would feel like, what the fuck I'm doing here? But, I switch the lights off to like these cameras, and then this is night watch cameras, and then they do every single time the same thing. I'm in the house as a serial murder, killed 15 babies. We're still looking for the babies.
15 babies.
And it's like,
Oh my God.
like
The haunted house lore.
Got it. What's the second question?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Why the hell did you do this? Now, Evan, now, just for a little insight, Uwe, Evan messaged me and Terrell, and he's like, "Dude, I think I'm gonna get Uwe Boll on the show." I was like, "You got to stop smoking weed, man. I don't know who the fuck you're talking to on X, but there ain't no way." And he was like, "No, I think I am." And I was like, "This is gonna be great. We're gonna jump in here, and we're gonna have a complete stranger, some AI, some troll." And like, lo and behold, so I'm just like, what happened? Were you drunk, Uwe? What were you doing at the time?
I'm just bored shitless at home, and
Oh, I like your answer. You is a funny man, Uwe, and I'm so glad that you came on this show. Before we end this, do you want to like plug anything, any social medias or websites, or I don't know?
I want to ask you.
Yeah, you got to let Evan get in there.
He's got a couple movies coming up.
Yeah.
3.
Let him say it. I just asked him.
Well, no, I just want to ask him specifically about these.
Yeah.
So Run is coming up, as well as Citizen Vigilante and Bandidos.
So Bandidos is a real docu over the Bandito motorcycle gang. I followed them around. I will send you in the chat some trailers too. And
thank you.
Wait 1 second.
Awesome.
We don't forget that. And that was basically wait, where are you now? Here, wait. Allow the river wants to enter picture automatically. I don't know what that is. You're still here, right?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay, good. I just want to make you bigger again. I don't know why you're so small now on my.
Oh, if you went to another tab, it probably when you come back.
What I will do is I email you all I've said after, right?
Cool. Yeah. Perfect.
Post it. And the Banditos thing was basically by accident that I met the bosses of the Banditos through a friend, and they are with the Hells Angels, the biggest like motorcycle club. And so and then they were not so happy. I don't see Terrell anymore here.
He's still there.
I'm here.
He's still there.
Okay. So it took 3 years for the docu to finish it because it was on and off. They didn't want it that they had like murder lawsuits. They didn't want to talk to me anymore. Then like stuff like this. So during my filming, the two bosses first went to jail and then left the club. And then I had like other people interfering with it from other countries, from the banditos, and said you have to stop doing the docu, etc., etc. But now it's out. It's right now out in Germany only, but it comes to the US too. Like it will be like on Prime and YouTube and so on. And then Run is with Amanda Plummer, James Russo, Barkhad Abdi from Captain Phillips, Marcus Henderson from Get Out. So, and that's a film what plays in plays in Italy. It's like refugee boats coming in, and then it plays in one day, and it gets completely out of control. Like this guy in the thing gets violent, and then they later attack the refugee camp. So that movie comes out in fall, in November. And I have also Kristen Renton who is the lead in First Shift. First Shift is out now. It's everywhere, right? Was it Paramount Plus at Showtime, and it's also on Amazon and so on. First Shift. And then Citizen Vigilante is like the comeback from Armie Hammer, who got cancelled for like the reasons were not really clear to me, to be honest. He had sex affairs and he did like bondage, S&M stuff. but I mean, he was never in court, right?
Right.
He didn't get sued by the prosecution, and he didn't get sued by people. So and then to cancel somebody because he had some tweets where he said, "I want to eat you." Remember the Armie Hammer is the cannibal.
We remember.
I mean,
that was gross though. He wanted to eat a cat or something, and it wasn't the other cat. So it was nasty.
Yeah, and I know, but for me, there's like that fine line between like with somebody because he has some cultish sex games going, or Harvey Weinstein. I think that's the thing. It's like nobody said he raped me or something. I mean, that's the thing. I felt he should come back. He's a big star. He's a great actor. And Citizen Vigilante is the closest to Rampage. Like when I compare, it's very brutal. It's like Run is very realistic and shows the pro and cons of migration. It's a real good drama with some action. But Citizen Vigilante is a ruthless, merciless, cynical, death wish equalizer kind of.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's and we really went out there. It was a bloodbath, but it's great because Armie looks like this kind of all-American sunny boy. I mean, he just looks great, right? So it looks like a model. And that he is this kind of guy. In a way, he kills the bad guys, but you feel he's also not really clean. So
okay,
and I think that's the interesting, similar to Bill Williamson in Rampage. You kind of like him, even if he's a mass murderer. So and I think that's the thing with Citizen Vigilante is like the audience will say, "Oh, that goes too far," So he punishes people. They maybe, or he goes a little over the top in punishing them, and but it's very controversial too. And the media is celebrating him. Social media is celebrating him.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, I think you get a bad aftertaste to it, that you feel like, okay, the rule of law should be not completely lifted. I think we all love sometimes a vigilante situation. We all, a lot of times, at least me, feel there's a lot of injustice, and you would wish you would have like a rogue correction officers, right? So, but at the same time, you cannot give up the rule of law and everybody's doing whatever they want, because then everybody is unsafe.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting that these movies too that you have upcoming are all very, I don't know, they're very different. All three movies there's nothing, and I think that's cool. And when you're starting to write these ideas and stuff, where do you begin? Like, do you start with a singular scene? Do you start with a broader idea?
Don't be trapping him
he
now.
Said he was ready to go. This is the end. So we can ask this later.
Question.
So let him plug his stuff. This man was ready to go.
Okay, that is the last answer. Let me stop.
Okay, yeah. Come on now.
I think First Shift is, I don't know, you watched it already? First Shift?
Yeah, I did it before prepping for this.
One of the most positive things I ever did, because of the chemistry between Gino Pizzi and Kristen Renton, the main actors. I think it's very funny.
Right.
It has this kind of taste like the Bad Boys, like this kind of and the movie was way darker how I wrote it. So the actors were so changing it, the tone, that made it way better. My ideas, the individual stories, like the guy who kills his whole family, the mafia guys killing the guy, the son, then they got him killed. My ideas I wrote down were very hard, and then they made it lighter. And I'm very happy.
Okay.
And First Shift 2 and 3 will be the same. I wrote the whole script with Gino Pizzi together from the beginning on, because I told him, you're so in the character now, you write the dialogue. Right? So, and so I wrote the structure and he wrote the dialogue, and that was totally different. Run and Citizen Vigilante are more typical Boll films where I kept everything the way I wrote it. I gave the actors in Run, because it's so many different actors in Run and it plays all in one day, a lot of freedom how they play it. If you hire Amanda Plummer, she's a very, let's say, theater-driven improv person, right? So you just have to play it. She just has to play it how she would play it, and you let her go with it, and it worked out very well. And Citizen Vigilante was really Army worked on the dialogue. I wrote it all, and then he said, "Look, you're not an American. Let me fix your dialogue." And I said, 100%. Right, so you go over it, and we discussed what he says, because he has this kind of similar to Bill Williamson in Rampage. He also goes out to social media with messages to the news, and so these things are spread over the movie too. And I wrote what he should say, and then he changed it, where he basically justifies what he's doing, and I think it turns out very good. I have a very good feeling about that film. And I hope that the buyers in the US are not like, "Oh, Armie Hammer, we cannot buy it," So I really hope that they give the film a platform and a chance, basically.
It's going to get picked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it, man. And we appreciate you taking the time, the extended time here to come and talk to us.
Yeah. I will write you all kinds of links with the films.
Okay, so you'll plug all that. Perfect. We'll have all that in the episode on the bottom. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Uwe, for joining us and giving us a lot of insight into the movies and everything.
Yeah.
This is Footage Foreplay. Thank you.
Buy my autobiography, the Uwe Boll memoirs or whatever it is.
Put the links in there. We got to get us a copy. I got to get you to sign it whenever I come to Germany.
I had only 5 copies myself for free here, and I didn't even know. I was looking for them the last few days, and I don't know where. It's Bear Mannion Books. They do a lot of film books, and it's on Amazon. You can order. I think it's worth it because I write film by film. Than what we talked about here in a way, like my what happened at the film set, and I think it's very interesting for film fans to read that.
Yeah, you have stories. I'm sure you could write 1,000 books.
Well, listeners, check the description. I'll have the link for you to get that book.
Okay. Hey, Uwe, you ever find yourself in the Bay Area? Come out to the Film Fest. You always got a home out here. Yeah, love you. Thank you for taking the time. It was an honor.
Okay, goodbye. Right. I can just hang
Thanks for listening to Footage Foreplay. If you enjoy the show,
please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or simply hitting like. These small gestures are a great free way to support this mayhem, and if you find some footage we should be fondling, email us at footageforeplay@gmail.com. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes, and remember, don't skip the foreplay.